Premier Automotive Group is busy making a difference in the community and around the world. Founded by Troy and Tracy Duhon, Giving Hope is a New Orleans-based foundation providing support to those in need. Giving Hope NOLA feeds over 230 people every day through the food pantry of New Orleans. The Hope House coordinates annual mission trips to fund and build orphanages around the world, and Giving Hope Ranch partners with the New Orleans mission to serve men and women of the New Orleans mission. Giving Hope NOLA and Premier Automotive is making a difference. Go to givinghope.nola.org. The LSU Tigers continue to impress, one guy in particular, as LSU remained unbeaten, winning at Syracuse 34-24. It was not an overall impressive performance by the Tigers, but they did enough thanks to this guy. Great improv here. Harris to Fournette. Give them both credit. And Leonard does the rest, and he's going to finish a run. He always does, lowering the boom. And then let's go short side here. The speed for that young man at about 230, 235 pounds is remarkable. I try to draw comparisons. Maybe a Deuce McAllister at Ole Miss. Speed, close, but Fournette's faster. Power, yes. And again, the vision, the strength, the speed, Brian, it's an unbelievable combination.
Yeah, he's a brilliant player. It's hard to imagine that he's going to have to play in the college game for another, season and a half before he can turn pro. Because this guy would look great in a lot of NFL backfields right now.
Well, he sets up blocks well, too, Ricky. He understands running the football.
Yeah, I mean, he makes you think of guys like Herschel Walker. Whenever he get out in the head of the group, they can't catch him, and that's what I like about him. Herschel did a lot of that when he was in college. He would drag people, take people down, but when he get in the open field, you couldn't catch him.
That run right there, he bounces it outside. 34-24 LSU. Fournette, unbelievable. Another 200-yard game. First time that's happened, I mean, in LSU history, back-to-back 200-yard games. Brandon Harris, acceptable. Too many penalties for the Tigers. Lost all kinds of yardage in the process. But that one play right there, the play's not there. Runs it inside. It's stacked up. He didn't even hesitate. Not even a hesitation. He bounced it immediately, takes off.
And some people compare him to Adrian Peterson, but I tell you what, he's a great running back, and he got a long future in the head of him. I just need him to stay healthy.
You know, you think about the yards he's racked up in 3 games. Imagine what would have happened if he'd had McNeese State. This guy is incredible. And know this, that he had lost yards, over 100 yards in 2 runs that were called back, an 87-yard touchdown run and another lengthy run that yardage I can't remember. So you're looking at a guy that's pushing 350, 375. You know, Syracuse was a gritty team. I thought it was a really good game.
Well, it shouldn't have been, but LSU wasn't ready to play. Their special teams were bad much of the way, except for the return by Tre'Davious White of the return. And Fournette lost a big yardage play as well against Mississippi State.
Yeah.
His numbers will be off the charts. But, Ricky, he still leads the nation in rushing, and he's still, right now, #1 in the Heisman race.
Oh, and not on that, though. Look at 2 games that I look on their schedule and that they have. They got, like, Western Kentucky and Eastern Michigan. They got 2 games. He might gain 300 yards each game. So they got 2 easy games, but the SEC schedule coming out when I know he still can do well, but he got 2 easy games.
But I think that's a double-edged sword because he's not likely to play as much if that's the case. They're going to go to Darius Geis, Nick Brissett, Darrell Williams, because there's no need to waste carries on Fournette and put more wear and tear on him if they don't need to.
But I think they'll still let him get his 2-something each game before they take him out.
If he can get there.
You know, as I was watching the broadcast on Saturday, I kept thinking, the 2 most exciting college athletes in this country right now, one of them hadn't even stepped on a court yet, is Benny Simmons and Leonard Fournette. And LSU, they're both at Baton Rouge. I mean, that's exciting.
I think that's a very good point, and I think it's legitimate, too, having seen Ben Simmons play in high school. Unbelievable talent. He's a one-and-done guy. Stay tuned for that. Well, LSU won the game, but they didn't win in the polls. They didn't impress the pollsters enough. In fact, they dropped a spot from 8th to 9th. But again, that's what happens when you go play a game against an average to mediocre team on the road and you don't pass the beauty test. You drop a spot. In the grand scheme, is it going to matter? I don't think so. It all works itself out. Bottom line is keep winning, especially against teams that you see on that ledger there, like Ole Miss, and all is going to be well. Like Georgia in the SEC championship game, there you go. Take care of your business. You'll get where you need to get.
Kenny, the key is, and we've overlooked it, I mean, Leonard Fournette overshadows everybody on that club. But Brandon Harris, he's proven to be a pretty good game manager through the first 3 games. And if he continues in that role, no turnovers, makes smart, heady plays, makes good passes when he needs to. Look, the 2 pass plays that he had when Fournette was out, those were key. Now, if he continues to play like that, that national championship could be theirs by the season, at the end of the season.
You can see what a difference a year make with him. You can see he's a lot more mature now. But you got to get credit to that offensive line, man. They have some holes. They have some holes that we can run through. So get that offensive line credit.
Yeah, and had an injury during the game, and they still sustained that and played on and played very well in the process. Tulane had an off week. They're back in action at Yeoman Stadium, an 11 a.m. start against Central Florida this coming Saturday morning. But the big news from Tulane this past week was the announcing of a retirement by Rick Dickson, their longtime athletic director. He's been there since 2000, over 15 years now, and his teams have had some success on the field. He's raised money. Of course, he helped save the program when there was a move in 2003 to get rid of Division I athletics, and then he had to navigate Tulane past Hurricane Katrina. So we give him his props. There are some other things that haven't worked out as well, obviously with the hiring of some coaches or winning in the significant sports. Obviously, those are points for discussion. We're going to talk more about this topic next week in the specifics. But Brian, obviously, this was one of those stories. We all knew it was going to come sometime in the near future, but it kind of got lost in the Friday of high school football and the football weekend when they put out this release.
Yeah, I'm wondering, maybe from a public relations standpoint, they felt that it would be best to do this during their open week, I guess. Yeah, Rick, you know, I wish Rick well. I think he put in some good years here at Tulane, but I do think it's time for a change.
Well, I mean, and just to see some of the work that he have done over there, like getting a new stadium, all this on his watch. He did a lot of great things on a lot of things on his watch. But a couple of the coaches that came in later, you know, they haven't been great coaches, even though he thought they was going to be have to get the program back up to par, but they haven't passed that test, so that kind of hurt him a little bit.
I'll tell you what, that job is a sleeping giant. I hope that they make the right decision, because I think it's going to be very important for Tulane to make the right decision for the next 5 years. Not 10 years, 5 years.
I say this respectfully. I mean it with all my heart, because I want Tulane to succeed in a big way and always have. The line sleeping giant, I agree with the sleeping. I'll leave it at that, because I don't see it. Unless there's a commitment to winning, you're not going to win.
I agree. I agree with you, Kenny. The commitment has to be there. The resources have to be there. Now, they have gotten that in the sense of a 30,000-seat stadium. So we'll take it from there.
Well,
For what that's worth, it's 25,000 by the way.
Right, I'm sorry.
But you also got to pick who's going to
Yeah.
do the right job. You just
There you
can't
go.
go pick people because other people make you pick them. So that's what Tulane got to worry about. They got to make sure they get the right candidate.
Prep football when we return in a moment here on Sports NOLA TV.